The footage you're about to watch, as I've watched it back and I've watched it several times, I'd suggest you do the same. I want to ask a very serious question. Was this attempted murder by the police officer driving that vehicle at that protester in Epping last night? That looked to me very much like a vehicle attack because until that happened, that crowd had not been ridiculously violent. In fact, the whole of the episode in Epping last night, it got a bit nasty, but it wasn't full on rioting and dangerous attacks on the police. I didn't see any policeman whose life was in danger last night at all. There was a bit of pushing and shoving, a bit of punching of riot shields. But in view of what's been happening in Epping, in view of what's been happening throughout the country, I think things were pretty tame. But what happened last night, and this is where the police need to get a grip of themselves, and they need to acknowledge that there is two-tier policing. I don't believe for a minute a vehicle would have driven through a Palestinian crowd like that. A Hamas support, let's get it right, a Hamas supporting crowd. I don't believe it. I don't believe if that was an ethnic minority rioting that the police vehicles would have driven into the crowd like that, especially with the low level of violence that was taking place. I don't believe if that had been Just Stop Oil. In fact, we've seen it. When Just Stop Oil blocked the roads, the police made them cups of tea and brought them biscuits. This is diabolical. It's another instance of two-tier policing. And let's not even go there with what's going to happen to the people that through anger and frustration stupidly attack the police. But goodness knows what prison sentences are going to be handed out to those men, young and old, who got involved last night. And that's why I would always say, don't get involved, not because it's not right to be angry. It's very right to be angry, but channel that anger in a way that's not going to get you 4 or 5 years in prison. Join Advance. Come to the demos that we're organising. Mobilise at street level politically, but don't get involved in violence. What I'm saying is just don't do it because it's going to get you nicked. But I understand the anger, and I'm not in any way condemning people for being angry because I'm angry about what's going on in my country. Every day I'm seething with rage. But what the police did last night, to me, it showed two-tier policing. They protected those paedophile, protecting, scummy, communist left-wingers that came to the protest. The police spent more time protecting them than they do protecting the daughters of England. And I think the police force right the way throughout the United Kingdom, including the PSNI, when we look at what happened at Ballymena, are an absolute disgrace because they prioritise protecting invaders over Indigenous people. And it's absolutely disgusting. Anyway, enough said. That police officer that was driving that vehicle should be arrested and charged at least with dangerous or reckless driving. See you all soon.